Jeffrey heard a knocking sound through his sleep, light and tentative, like a child knocking on someone else's door. He lay there for a moment wondering if he was dreaming. And again, softly, knock, knock, knock. It wasn't a dream. Jeff got up, slipped his feet into his slippers, and went to see who it was that had come in the middle of the night. "Where are you going?" Miriam asked. "Someone's knocking." "Go back to sleep, darling. I'll take care of it." Outside the windows winter was raging. December, the thermometer had dropped to 37. That's +3 Celsius, windy, and damp. Jeffrey Howard went down to the first floor and looked through the peephole. "Looks like a woman." He opened the door without removing the chain. "Ma'am, what can I do for you?" "Jeffrey, it's me, Jeff, let me in. Please, fucking hell." He opened the door. His ex-girlfriend, Emily Willis, stood in the doorway. "Emily, what's wrong? What happened to you?" Willis looked like a beggar, some kind of ragged dress, hooded sweatshirt on top. No coat. She had her arms wrapped around herself and was shaking so hard. Her teeth were chattering. G pulled her inside, catching her hand in something sticky. When he turned on the hallway light, he was horrified. All of Amy's clothes were soaked in blood. "Emily, are you hurt? What happened?" "I'll call the paramedics." "Don't call the paramedics." Willis was having trouble speaking. "It's not my blood. I killed a man. I killed Baker. Ryan Baker, I killed him." Is this the same Baker?" "Yes, Jeff. That's the one." Baker Ryan was the man who destroyed their family. He stole Emily away from Jeff, and then he took all her savings and left her to fend for herself. After the divorce, Jeffrey didn't hear from her for a year. And now here it is. Jeffrey Howard, of course, was not some maturing criminal, but he was used to solving problems immediately. And now this. "Okay, Amy. Get undressed quickly. Take everything off. I'll get the bag." Howard ran to the kitchen and brought a large trash bag. Willis was already barefoot in her bra and panties. There were blood stains on her panties too. "Amir, take it all off. There's no need for embarrassment right now. Take it off quick." He took the naked woman into the bathroom and turned on the hot water. "Get in." He ran to hide the bloody clothes in a bag, then jumping down to the basement to the working boiler and put the sack into the furnace, increasing the gas pressure. It was a good thing the houses in Yarmouth had old universal boilers, otherwise, you'd have to build a fire outside. Or something else. I went back to the bathroom. Amy was sitting in the hot water doing nothing. Her lifeless hair, tangled in tangles, was wet with bloody ends. "Emily, don't just sit there. Wash yourself." "Oh, shit." Jeff grabbed the shampoo and began lathering the woman's head. The door to the bathroom opened. Miriam stood on the threshold. "Jeffrey. What are you doing?" "Miriam, she can't wash herself." "Jeffrey Howard," I said, "what are you doing?" "Mary darling, don't think anything bad." "Jeffrey, I'm your wife, and you're washing a naked woman in our bathroom. What am I supposed to think?" "Mary darling, I guess you shouldn't think that your husband is a scoundrel and a lecher. You should think about the fact that there's some CP going on." "Oh my God. What happened?" "Jeffrey, you're scaring me." "What CPA?" "Mary, have I ever given you any reason to question my integrity? Just trust me and do what I ask. I've never asked you for anything. Now it's time." He looked at his wife carefully. She seemed to have calmed down a bit. "Mary, go upstairs." Emily started to climb out of the bathtub. "Jeff, I think I'm gonna go sit down." Jeff shouted, "I'll go you. Sit down and wash up now." He turned to his wife. "Mary, go upstairs and get into bed. I realize you won't be able to sleep. Take a Millennium tablet, I'm begging you. It's the right thing to do. I'll explain everything to you later." Miriam frowned. "Why not now?" Murray Jeff Rod. "Once in your life, do what I ask you to do just once without asking anything. Miriam pressed her lips together, turned and walked away. Jeff jumped out of the bathroom and took Mary under his elbow. "Honey, think if your ex knocked on the door right now. Naked, freezing and covered in blood. Would you close the door on him?" "Blood?" whispered the dazed Miriam. "You saw the blood in the bathroom. Oh my God. What's going on? Mary, please, go to bed, and if you can't sleep, take a sleeping pill, please. It's the right thing to do. No offense, but Jeffrey, I could help. You don't have to do that." "All right, Jeff, but you'll explain everything to me in detail tomorrow." "You got it, in detail." "Of course, sweetheart. Of course, go on." And a distraught Miriam stroked up the stairs. Jeff returned to Emily. She was finally out of her stupor and was sponging her body. "Jeffy, would you please rub my back?" "Turn around." Rubbing his ex's shoulder blades with the washcloth, he demanded. "Tell me." "I bumped into him outside a boat store in the harbor. He'd come on his yacht this time, and he was staying at a mini hotel on Portland Street. He didn't recognize me." "Wait a minute. What were you doing in the harbor?" Well, for one thing I live there. In the old boat behind the store, and also, I was following him. He didn't recognize me. He was drunk, and he's a dog. He fucks anything that looks like a woman." Amy coughed, a cold with a gurgle in her throat. "Wait a minute," Jeff marveled. "You live in an old yacht?" "Yes. It's later. It doesn't matter. Here." He followed me. And there, around the corner, I waited for him, and I stabbed him in the chest. Several times. "Here. You carry a knife?" "Yes. After one time, when I was raped by homeless people, I carry a knife. I stole it from a charity kitchen." "Okay. Hold on. So it was between the store and the old boat, you left and it was left lying there?" "Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I went to your house. I was so scared that I wasn't thinking. Wait, Amy. Where's the knife?" "The knife?" "The knife. I left it in Ryan's. Fuck you. You stupid women, wash yourself." He washed her back. Oh my God. Emily had lost so much weight her ribs were showing under her skin. Jeff went upstairs to the guest bedroom and pulled a spare pair of pajamas and a large towel out of the closet. They came in handy in the bathroom. I hung everything on the dryer. "Amy, here's a towel. When you're done, put this on." He looked at her haggard face. "When was the last time you ate?" "Thursday." He shook his head, sadly. "When you're done, there's some turkey in the fridge in the kitchen, a couple of steaks, there's some hard-boiled eggs in there somewhere, milk, there's bread and a tray in the fridge." "Where are you going?" "Cleaning up your shit." "Don't, Jeffrey, I'm gonna eat and then I'm gonna go turn myself into the police." "Why are you women so stupid?" He took her by the chin. "You eat. You'll go to the guest bedroom. It's the second floor, the door to the right, and you'll sit there quiet as a mouse. Keep your nose to yourself. You got it?" "She's going to surrender." "Oh, stupid." And he went to get dressed. Why was Jeff trying to save this stupid woman? He didn't even know why, but Howard didn't want Emily Willis to end up in jail, especially because of a lowlife like murdered Baker. When he came downstairs, dressed in all the dark, almost black junk, Amy was already sitting at the table gnawing at the turkey. She swallowed the pieces almost without chewing. "Amy, take your time, chew your food well. No one's chasing you." Emily looked at him guiltily and slowed down. "Tell me, how did you get into the harbor area over the embankment?" "I went down behind the store." "Why would you do that?" "It's your port." "Are you suggesting that I triumphantly break into the war through the port entrance?" "Think about what you're talking about." "That's right." Willis wrinkled her nose and muttered, "Stupid. How did you get on the boat?" "There's a ladder in the grass by the embankment. I always hid it there." "Okay. I get it." Jeff opened the seasoning cabinet, took out 3 packets, put them in his pocket, and headed out. "Wait, Jeff, what are you gonna do?" Cover my tracks. Stay in your bedroom and don't go anywhere, I'll be right there. Jeff, after he divorced Emily, bought a house on Main Street, a big house, 2 full floors, plus an attic. He and his ex sold the old one on Sumner Street and split the money. Jeff felt sorry for that familiar, cozy cottage with a 2-car garage, but the new dwelling was only a kilometer from his work. Both he and Miriam bicycles to the marina most of the time. They worked at the same place. Jeffrey is the marina manager. Miriam is the manager of the boat store. This time, he too climbed on his bicycle and rode down the night street to the scene of the crime. The residential neighborhood ended, and the streetlight poles became less and less frequent. Before the tunnel under a 295, he got off the bike, carried it in his arms and left it in the bushes. Then he climbed up the embankment, looked around. No one. He ran across the road, rolled into the port area, and froze again. The watchman spoke up. He was coming from the pier from one of the boats. Jeff pulled a book from a nearby table and leaped through it. Here, that's right. Ryan Baker, registered December 4th. Italian yacht Azimuth 62's boat number SP 8624D. Didn't you know? The pier manager's checking in the dockers. I don't look in the logbook much. Anyway, we talked about nothing. The ambulance came. They loaded the body, and that was the end of it. Jeff got home around 6 o'clock, checked to see how Emily was settling in. She was snoozing in the guest room, sprawled out on the bed. She always slept restlessly. I closed the door quietly and went into the living room to the couch. I sat there until the alarm clock went off. In the morning, the women were pecking their noses. Jeff didn't sleep at all, but he gave the order to get up. Come on, ladies, let's go to work. We've gotta be on duty. We'll talk there. Today, they went by car, all 3 of them. They didn't even have breakfast, not even morning coffee. Emily slipped into Miriam's dress and her old sneakers that Jeff had retrieved from the attic. She obeyed Howard without complaint. Only she wouldn't look at him. She sat there with her eyes downcast. I don't know what was on her mind. At the pier, Mary ran off to her store, and Jeff took Emily first to the boutique where he dressed her like a lady. Amy looked at her ex-husband in embarrassment as she shopped, but remained silent. When he drove her to the Clementon outpatient clinic, Amy spoke up. What's the point of coming here? What do you mean, why here? You're coughing weird. You were raped by some freaks. And, anyway, Emily took all the tests. They're not due back until tomorrow, but bronchial asthma, of course, was diagnosed right away. They prescribed a bunch of medications, which Jeff bought at the drugstore. Then at the grocery store, he bought some food. He wasn't worried anymore. He was just tired, exhausted. He decided to take it as it came. Back in Howard's office, Jeff put the coffee pot on, put breakfast on plates, and asked questions. Amy, I don't understand why you're an educated man who's been reduced to being a homeless girl. Yep, I did something very bad. I destroyed my family. Our family. I destroyed our marriage. I insulted you as much as a woman can insult you. My life today is a punishment. But, Amy, you could have come to me. I would have helped. Willis grinned. Jeff, I came to you anyway. Why do you think I've been living in this boat, next to your job, so I could see you sometimes from afar? What about Ryan? She grinned bitterly again. Backers are bastard. He deserved to die. Jeff jumped up, ran to the door, and looked out into the hallway. No one. Emily, be careful, you're not the only one in this shit now. I'm sorry, Jeff. I wasn't thinking. She had this sickly grin on her face the whole time. You know, Ryan, he's an asshole. Did you get back at him? Willis looked up in surprise. Revenge? No. No, I didn't kill him. She said in a whisper. That asshole systematically maimed people. In Yarmouth alone, he destroyed 2 families besides me. Catherine Leonard hanged herself in the attic after that. Okay, we don't have children. Catherine had a son, 4 years old. Emily choked on the long monologue, coughed. Jeff handed her a napkin. He that scumbag. He was trained as a psychiatrist, he graduated magna cum laude and a certificate in psychology. He deliberately crippled families, in addition, he lived off the money his victims gave him. Why didn't anyone report him? That's extortion. No. He's not robbing anyone. He's not extorting anyone. Women give him their savings, he's found a gold mine, and he's developing it. He's been working it. She grinned crookedly again, only he forgot that he's mortal like everyone else. They were silent for a moment. Willis looked piercingly into her ex-husband's eyes. I've been through this and this. It's wrong. It's wrong, and it's scary. He's got it all planned. I caught Howard's surprised look. Yeah, he's got a plan. Processing. He calls people like me, purses. What a bastard. Jeff muttered, I'm sorry. I interrupted. Oh, it's okay. He specifically targets married women, so that they'll get a substantial amount of money when the marriage is dissolved. And he has everything planned out. He always does it in 4 days. Why 4 days? Howard interrupted again. I don't know, it must be some kind of mania. Amy Kaufman again. After taking the pills, her cough was less frightening. First day he listens, invites her to a cafe and sits there listening to a woman. He asks meaningless questions, listen attentively. Sympathizes, admires, empathizes. It's so binding, so you wanna talk more and more. Then he asks for a second meeting. Jeff wondered, you mean, just by listening to a woman he binds her to him, Jeff? Yes, dear, it's okay that I'm doing that to you. It's okay. So what? You don't know how mesmerizing it is. Baker seemed so kind at these moments, so understanding, like no one else. The woman sighed bitterly. In those moments no one realizes that it's a professional treatment. On the second date, he says, he tells me how wonderful I am, how beautiful and smart I am, how interesting I am, what a gentle soul and a beautiful body I have. No vulgarity. Not even a hint. After the second time, I was flying on wings. I was just floating in euphoria. Jeff poured coffee. You want your usual cream? Yes. Please. Amy took a sip and coughed, putting the napkin to her lips. Third time, on third date, Baker demonstrated tantric remote massage. That's what he calls it. He gently touched my body. Light, airy movements. It's trance-inducing and arousing, pleasantly arousing, especially when he touched my breasts and rubbed my nipples through the fabric. It's very pleasurable, Jeffrey. It feels very good. Do you understand? Jeff nodded. What's not to understand? It's just so you were sitting in a cafe and Rayanne touched your breasts. We were sitting in a pub called the On the Prom in the corner of the you remember, underneath the gold-framed pictures. Right. Is that it? Yes, Jeff. That's how it ended that day. I was left in a state of complete happiness and in a state of total dissatisfaction. Willis took a bite of her sandwich and drank her coffee. They talked some more. Jeff took his time. Here, Emily continued. Everything important happens on the fourth day. We went with him to the room he was renting. Why? Howard interrupted again. Why did you go to the room with him? I couldn't resist his requests. I didn't want to. He promised to demonstrate some exercises from Tibetan practices. I didn't realize it myself. I didn't realize how I ended up in bed. But I'm sorry, Jeff, but sex with him is something. It's amazing. It's great. Wonderful. It's amazing. It's divine. It's so sensual and blissful. There's nothing like it. Amy looked at her ex-husband's twisted face. I'm sorry, darling. I'm sorry. Jeff's side wrinkled his nose, but did not say a word of condemnation, just asked, what's next? And then he told me how happy we'd be together in California, how he'd fallen in love, and now he couldn't live without me. And then our divorce and the sale of the house. Emily lowered her eyes, bowed her head mournfully. He took all the money and disappeared. Oh my God. Why did you give him the money? He said he didn't have enough to start a serious business. He wanted to open a tantric healing center in Sacramento. He was a little short. I see. Howard sighed. Only, Amy. I plan to have you stay with me for a while, until you get better, stop looking like a skeleton and get a job. I think you'll find one quite easily, but don't say anything to Miriam. Don't get her involved. Okay, all right, darling. Only she's already involved without me. That's it. Amy ran her hand over her throat. What do you mean? Jeff was surprised. She's dating him. She was. Considering he's dead. I'm sorry, Jeff, I couldn't let that skunk hurt you again. And I couldn't let you get cheated a second time. I'm not claiming anything. I'm well aware of the gulf that separates us, but I couldn't let you hurt the man I love. Jeff was petrified at such a message. He knew perfectly well that Amy wasn't lying. That's no lie. Mary came in. That's it, honey. I've taken care of everything. I'm with you now. Explain to me, please. Mary, Howard interrupted her. Tell me honestly, how many times have you met Ryan Baker? Miriam turned pale and froze, her eyes shifting fearfully from Jeffrey to Emily. Amy prompted 4 times. Mary turned around and ran out of the office.